Welcome back to the Hooligans Pitch. It's a special episode today, Michael. It's actually a double birthday episode.
What?
It's not only your birthday, happy birthday, but we're technically one day early of our first ever Hooligans Pitch episode.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah.
We did it on 8/8?
We did it on 8/8/22. Here we are,
Wow.
8/7/23. So we're a touch early, but we'll bunch it all
That's
together.
the second best day we could have had our 1 year anniversary on. So, wow, that's impressive. What a fun stat that I did not see coming.
Honestly, I thought about that right before we started recording.
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm glad it worked out.
Good timing. Well, yes, it is August 7th, 31 years ago. I was birthed into this world. And now we're here. So I'm ready to get 31 started. And with that, we're doing a mango punch hard seltzer because
Mango punch.
it's just beer I wasn't really feeling right now. I just had a big lunch, free guac at Chipotle on your birthday. So don't forget about that.
Yeah.
Trying to do all the birthday free things. Went online last night. A lot of those things are outdated, so don't listen to any of them. So yeah.
What, you walk into a place now and you say, it's my birthday, and said, all right, cool.
Dude, they're like, buy a cookie, or it was like, buy a sandwich and you'll get a free cookie. When, like, 5 months ago at Jersey Mike's, you just get a free sub on your birthday. Not anymore.
What a world we used to live in.
I know. All the good things have been taken away from us.
Well, I'm going with, it's kind of a throwback for me. It was kind of like the first beer that I really enjoyed and went out and bought a lot. It's the Fresh Squeezed IPA. I don't get it all too often anymore because there's a lot of options these days, but this one holds a special place.
Now I wish I would have had a fresh squeeze because that's what I'm craving.
Well, you could have your mango punch and then get a little fresh squeeze action.
I think that's what we're going to do.
It's your birthday.
Yeah, I can do whatever I want. Whatever I want. And speaking of doing whatever I want, Lauren James thought she could do whatever she wanted on the pitch last night. So I'm thinking maybe we just start with that because I'm dying to know what she was possibly thinking when she said, I'm frustrated, I'm going to step on your back. There can't be anyone who sees this, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, at that point of the game, I was kind of in and out of sleep. It was like almost 3 a.m. for me, so I woke up just as they showed the replay for it, and the ref gave her a yellow, and I was like, that's gonna change.
Yeah.
So I don't really know what happened. I mean, England altogether was frustrated not playing that well, and Nigeria was probably unlucky to not have a goal by that point. So I think it was maybe just some compounding factors of team not performing well. Lauren James didn't really perform that well. And then, I don't know, whatever happened in this tackle, she thought, let me just step on her, clearest point of her back. Not even try and graze the side of her as I thought I was going to step over her.
Clearly stepped on her back. And it didn't hurt her, but the player on the ground was like, are you kidding me? You're that was the dumbest move you could have made. I just don't understand why, there's so many cameras. It's stuff like that you're just never going to get away with. So why even try it? So was she that frustrated? That?
I guess.
To then get yourself kicked out for not just the rest of that game, but then the next one too.
And that's what I was wondering is because if this is looked at as violent conduct, then in Premier League, that's normally a few game ban, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that not the same in the World Cup? Would it just be the next one, or could it potentially be the next one plus one, or is her tournament over potentially? I don't know how far they would extend the suspension, but
I don't know. That's a good question, and because maybe the player didn't get hurt and it was a maybe non-heinous step, it was still a step on the body. So something needs to be done about that.
Yeah.
If she gets one game, I think I'm fine with it, considering it is a World Cup. But her team's got to be so disappointed in her, considering she was their best player in the group stage, and
I mean, look, I didn't really get to watch any of England through the group stage, so this is my first time watching them this tournament. But if you would have just shown me this game and told me Lauren James was killing it for England, I would not have believed you. She did not look good. 3 or 4 times she tried this crazy like volley from the top of the box and just like skies it, and it's like just a waste of possession at that point. I mean, maybe that's some credit to Nigeria for just kind of like playing her out of the game, I guess, and keeping her off the ball, which I guess maybe added to her frustration. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, yeah, from front to back, I don't think England looked great. Like Nigeria probably could have got the winner, but they were a little bit like frantic when they got in those
Yeah.
attacking situations.
I think Nigeria was probably the surprise team. You know, the first game, I watched 2 of their games, first one being the Canadian game, and I was like, Canada looks awful. Nigeria probably should have won that game, and I think they definitely play to who they're playing. And yeah, England didn't play their best, but I also thought Nigeria didn't play their worst either. They could have, they definitely could have taken that game. I think more so in the PKs, if anything.
Yeah.
But these PKs, man, they've just been rough.
Oof.
Oh my goodness. And you know, with the women's game, it's fascinating because the keepers just don't have the same reach as men, the same type of explosiveness to reach corners. You would feel like PKs in the women's game would be even easier.
Oh yeah.
But they're just not even hitting the target.
That's like,
Isn't that weird?
after this game and the U.S. game, like, are they not just like they're practicing in between games, right? Like, so are you not every practice just having a little bit of a PK shootout practice? Like, you're in this tournament, especially at this stage, it's win or go home. It could go to penalties. Like, it should not even be a question of whoever walks up to take that penalty kick.
It's gonna nail
It's
it.
going in,
Right.
you know?
Right.
Or at least force the keeper to make a save.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, even playing club in college, that's just what we did at the end of practice every day. It was good practice for both keepers and players, just in case that ever happened. So on a whole professional level, for them to maybe not take it as seriously or not practice it as much, that seems bizarre. I mean, I really want to just kind of jump to the USA game, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Those were some of the worst PKs, the misses. You know, 2 not even hitting the target, 1 hitting the post. Just so, I don't know, nonchalant. I hated Rapinoe's reaction. I think she's kind of getting blasted for it right now, how she kind of laughed after she missed, and honestly disappointed her whole team. Is she supposed to be this like rock, the senior?
I mean, my issue with Rapinoe is goes across the whole tournament. Like, from the moment she came into the Vietnam game, like, I think they said she hadn't played a game for club or country in like almost a year or something like that. So she's come in very rusty, and I think probably the plan was that the group stages would go much easier and they'd be able to like get Rapinoe more game time and get her up to speed. But every time she came into a game, it was either like really bad crossing or like missed touches on the ball that Megan Rapinoe of years past would have, you know, at least dribbled well and found a pass, and just like slow play. Like, I get she's older and hadn't played in a while, but like, and if you want to bring her along as this like locker room leadership presence, has that experience, cool, but that's maybe the extent of it. And then it's like an emergency sub, like for the game against Sweden. I think you keep Morgan out there, honestly.
Right?
Like,
I know. That's crazy that they brought her on.
She didn't look dead. You know, she was still making runs and contributing. And if anything, I thought it maybe would have been smarter to kind of just shift that front line, because I think it's Lynn Williams.
Yeah.
Lynn Williams came in. She had some good speed on the wing, but it seemed to be speed was kind of her only trick, I guess. So maybe throw her in the middle, let her just blast some runs down the middle. You still got Smith and Morgan at that point kind of playing outside, and you can, I don't know, mix up the front rotation a little bit. But yeah, Rapinoe was just bad all tournament for me. I'm okay with her going because I think that experience and leadership is important in the team, but
You don't got to play her.
to actually play, I think, was a mistake. And it seemed like that was the plan every game of like, all right, you just come in at the end. And it's like, none of these games are that comfortable that we could just like carry a player who's not anywhere close to in form.
Right. No, I agree with pretty much everything you said there. It'd be one thing if they brought her on end a game while they're up, and it was like get some reps in, get some touches. Like, we owe this to you because of all you've done in the past. But
Sure, yeah.
they were trying to make her something she wasn't, and it also didn't seem like she didn't want to do it either. That was my biggest problem.
Yeah, I think it was just a little bit. It just felt weird all around. Like she definitely didn't bring the same energy that she used to, which again could just be an age thing, or I mean, she hadn't played in a while, so maybe she's just kind of like done with the sport. But it was like, yeah, I'll give the World Cup one last go, sort of thing, which is kind of a bummer. But I don't know. I mean, that as a whole, that game was the best USA has looked the whole tournament.
Oh yeah. I mean, give credit to the Swedish keeper. What's her name? Musovic.
Or something?
Musovic.
Jeez.
She was lights out. I mean, there were so many chances where that ball could have gone in the net, and she was just unstoppable. There was one, I want to say it was a cross by Smith. I want to say Haran took the shot, and it was just an incredible I was like, that was the best setup the USA's had all tournament, and for that one not to go in, I was like, that's super deflating. And then once you get to the PKs, I think since this keeper already made 11 saves prior to that, she was already in their heads. And then to have our goalkeeper take the seventh shot, it was, but like that just shows where we're at in terms of PKs. Like, our keeper's taking number 7. That's crazy.
Like my parents watched the game later in the day, and my mom texted me. She was like, "Why is our keeper taking a penalty kick?" And I was like,
sucks.
I mean, yeah, like apparently she's one of the better ones to take it. Like, she had a good kick.
She has a boot.
It was just like, it felt like one of those moments of like, you guys aren't going to do it, so I got to put this team on my back. I'll save these things. I'll score this thing. Yeah. Like, yeah, it was just disappointing. Like, I don't know. Going into that game, I was already pretty nervous and maybe a little bit like negative.
I was a pessimist kind of all day.
It's because those group games, like, nothing was overly convincing. But then they came out with really good energy and were making good runs and had some great opportunities, and probably should have had a goal if not for the keeper. But yeah, you got to make your penalty kicks at the end of the day. Like, if you miss one, okay, but they had 2 chances to end that penalty kick round, and that's rough. Like, especially with O'Hara's miss. Like, I never liked those subs to bring someone on at the last second of the game.
So much pressure.
It's just hard, and Sophia Smith, like, you're young. I get it. Like, it's a lot of pressure, especially after Rapinoe missed and all that. It was just a mess. But I don't know. The three-peat was always going to be a tough ask. No one's ever done it, so I mean, it's
right.
It was going to be incredible if they could do it, and I think from the first game, everyone kind of had that feeling of like, uh-oh.
from the Vietnam game.
Yeah,
truly. Even though we controlled and dominated that game really should have been what the Dutch did. And I think,
least, because in my head I was like, tournament before we put 12 or 13 past Thailand, so like
so
that's feeling good. Like 3 past Vietnam, while like mostly in control, was like a good result, but it didn't feel like
30 shots.
3-peat. Like, yeah.
As soon as the Netherlands played Vietnam and won 7-0, I think USA hadn't played Portugal yet, but that was like, so we were at that point. I was already I don't want to say I knew we weren't going to go far, but that was the point where I was like, if the Dutch are crushing this team 7-0, there's no way we're going to be able to get past at least the Dutch when we play them inevitably again, or any of the top tier teams that are still left.
I mean, had we won against Sweden, we're going up against Japan, and Japan's just going to run through us. So
that would be a fascinating little rematch game from 2017? No, 2015.
Yeah.
Dang, so close. But that next one, Japan and Netherlands, though. Is Japan and Netherlands? Is that what I'm? I just wrote it down.
No, Japan
today.
and Sweden, and Spain and Netherlands.
Spain and Netherlands. That's going to be a good one. But yeah, I think Japan, man. I think they're the team that everyone has circled and probably saying this is the best team right now. And then I think the Dutch are second. I really do.
Yeah.
After that, probably Spain.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really watched any of France, so see how that looks.
They play bright and early tomorrow.
Yeah, so I won't watch it, but I think yeah, Japan, Spain, Netherlands, France are probably your big names. Like England had a good group stage, but then here against Nigeria kind of fumbled a little bit.
Classic England.
But I don't know. There's the Australia winning on your home turf story still alive. So
Sam Kerr came on as a sub.
I
So,
saw.
so she's
Yeah.
alive. Didn't have to do too
She is
much,
alive.
but she is alive. Who do you got, Colombia or Jamaica? Again, two teams I have not paid close attention to.
Yeah.
But one of them's moving on. So
In my heart of hearts, I want it to be Jamaica because I feel like that's the bigger underdog story. But I feel like it's going to be Colombia.
Colombia took down Germany. I feel like that was kind of the start of their momentum. Maybe like the new Morocco. Even though Morocco's still in it, I think Morocco's going to get absolutely demolished.
Yeah. I mean, they've looked okay from what I saw, but
They got a little
they
lucky.
got they got luck on their side, and I think France should be able to overcome that.
Good story. Now, if Morocco beats France,
Oof.
that will be insane.
I'll take a Australia Morocco quarterfinal.
Yeah, wow. I wouldn't know who to pick there. Huh.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, that's pretty much it for the women here. And then after this, the round of 8 starts on Thursday at 10 p.m. So we have Spain, Netherlands, Thursday, 10 p.m. my time, 8 p.m. your time. So that gives us, let's see, last game is tomorrow a.m. Gives us people Tuesday, Wednesday, and most of Thursday to get rosters in. So that's actually quite a bit of time. Then the next one, it goes a little bit quicker. But let's jump. Let's go to Premier League. Or I guess
It's coming up.
English football. Coming up, a couple injuries to be concerned about. Tarkowski is the big one. People saying it's not going to be so bad, but I don't know. I'm thinking about not putting him in my squad for the first week since now we get 5 subs. I
Yeah.
feel like we can be a little bit more flexible in terms of
Definitely.
of how we want to start off. We'll be getting rosters first. So I'm already trying to like make mine so I don't have any bias when it comes to what people are sending in. I won't take any consideration for what they do, but I feel like people are still going to rock with Tarkowski.
Yeah, I mean, I think the 5 subs might see people switch around a little bit more, just because you have that flexibility. But I mean, Tarkowski's been such a solid points getter
For years.
year after year now. And like, I don't know, like, and it's you got to gamble a little bit if that injury is going to be something serious or if it was just more precaution. That's part of the fantasy game. You gotta risk it for the biscuit sometimes.
And then that starts Friday at noon. We have City and Burnley. That's so great. I can't believe it's already back. Can't believe it.
Yeah.
Gabby Jesus with a little knock. They say he'll be
Yeah.
out until mid-September.
Yeah, from what I heard, it was like something with scar tissue on the surgery that he had over the World Cup last year. So yeah, it shouldn't be too long of an outage, but Arsenal's I think going to be okay. Like they have a pretty easy start to the season. Trossard's looked great in preseason. They played Havertz as the striker kind of thing in the Community Shield, and like it was basically the same Havertz you saw at Chelsea.
Okay.
Striker, like it just doesn't really. He's not a striker, so that's how it goes. But still have Nketiah there, so I think they should be okay. Like I think there's enough goals that can come from other areas of the pitch that Um, should be able to get through. I mean, you got start with Forest, go to Palace, then you got Fulham. First like big game is going to be September 3rd at home against United. So
Nice.
should be okay for Gabby to get healed up and back in the swing of things.
Are you thinking about keeping Kane on your team?
um, I mean, look, if he's gonna stay, then you might as well take him, right?
But do you think this first month or so he might not play? They might not play him. Do you think they'll do that?
No, they're gonna
They're gonna
play
play
him.
him.
If they're gonna turn down 100 million,
God damn.
they're gonna play him as much as they can.
That's just nuts.
I think you're being very short-sighted with that decision, but you know, they value his goals and one dude trying to get them back into the Champions League more than buying 3 or 4 players that could get the whole squad, up to a higher level.
What would it take for the Spurs to be able to, not so much they want to keep him, but what would it take for Harry Kane to want to stay? A title?
I guess, but like at the same time, I don't know. Like even if it's not a title, but you get back into Champions League, I think he just has a big question to ask himself, because when you're leaving on the free, you have all the power in your negotiation now, so you can get paid more from whatever new team, right? So United's gonna go look at him again. I wouldn't be surprised if City throws their hat in the ring just cause, and
Yeah.
maybe Madrid, like if they can get Kane and Mbappe there for the next season, like you're kind of chilling for a few years, and then that's why I just think it's really a dumb move to to hang on to Kane for one more year. I think they said the difference in price is like 25 million euros or something like that, which is like a lot of money. But
For sure.
all things considered, you maybe take the 100 mil and reinvest in some key areas, and
Right?
I don't know, because and then if Kane leaves on a free, he's potentially going to a rival. At least here, you knew he was going out of league. You don't have to worry about playing against him unless you end up in the Champions League next year or something. Like, we'll see. I mean, we'll see how it plays out, I guess, but not the choice I would have made.
Not the choice. I think it's just the stubbornness of Tottenham, and everyone knows. Everyone knows they're so stubborn. It's like, what is the deal breaker? And still no one can figure it out.
Yeah, I mean,
If it's not Bayern, it's not going to be anyone in the Premier League.
no, yeah. It might, I mean, at this point, United went in on whatever that kid's name is. He's 19.
Oh yeah,
but
yeah.
but they paid like 70 million for him, 80 million, something like
Oh,
that. Like
70? Oh, my eyes were not working correctly. I thought it said 7. I was like, that's a deal.
Oh, no.
70? Oh boy.
Yeah. So he must look very promising, because if you just look at his stats from last season, like it's definitely not a 70, 80 million striker, but I've never watched him, so I don't know. But I mean, yeah, like honestly, I'm going to throw out a crazy shout here.
All right.
If Kane stays for the season, he won't re-sign with Tottenham. He's going to leave on a free and go to Chelsea as long as Pochettino's still there.
I could see that big time.
Reconnect with the manager he kind of exploded with.
Mhm.
They got a good connection. He still gets to be in London. Thanks, Tottenham.
Now, hotter take. What if Jesus is just not the same guy anymore?
Mhm.
And Arsenal's like, let's go get us a number 9. Let's go get the big boy.
I mean, if you don't got to pay a transfer fee to your rival, you throw your name in there regardless. Like, we know Harry Kane grew up, at least initially, as an Arsenal fan. Like, there's pictures of him all over the place. So I don't know, and I think I don't know how much players buy into the rival between clubs.
Yeah.
But you got to think, like, from the outside perspective, as a professional player, seeing what Arsenal and Arteta are doing, and like the energy around there, and the connection and everything, like that's got to be somewhat enticing, right? So like, I don't know that it would happen, but I don't. It would make you think. I guess a little bit, right? Like if you're getting all these offers from everywhere and it's your pick, you don't have to worry about the club saying yes or no. Then I don't know, get to stay in London again. So
I don't know. I could see that being realistic. I mean, Man U has had their drama in the past, and maybe still will. We'll see how that club still looks at their players, especially how they just treated De Gea and kind of just said, "Nah, later." That doesn't.
yeah,
That can't look too good to players. City has so much depth. It's like, where does Kane fit in there? Especially after having I get having Holland and Kane would be awesome, but like, I don't know if Kane necessarily wants to compete with a young gun who just broke all these records.
yeah,
I don't think Liverpool would go for it, considering how much money we just spent on all these forwards. Chelsea seems like a name that would be realistic, just because they don't have they're still switching so many things around. I think if they have a really good year this year, that could definitely spark some interest. And then Arsenal coming in second and having the youngest team in the Premier League and having like this boost of energy that came out of nowhere, and now players want to go there. That's a pretty big deal. So, out of the, I guess, the big six that we just mentioned, I think Arsenal and Chelsea make total sense, and maybe sprinkling Newcastle in there. But again, they just made a lot of new signings too, so we'll have to see how they do. But if Arsenal and Chelsea make Champions League, I think out of all the Premier League teams, those would be the two that I would see it possibly happening. And then we have Neymar trying to get at PSG, so maybe expect PSG to make a little run for it. And then, of course, the inevitable Madrid, who's just always kind of been looming in the background. But if they want Mbappe, they don't want Kane.
yeah. I think they're all in on Mbappe for sure. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's definitely a story to kind of keep an eye on over the season, and
Yep.
that's just going to be the talking point around Spurs the whole season of like where Kane will end up and will he resign. I don't think he will. Like, if anything, I think he makes a move just for like one like bigger final little payday sort of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Spurs will offer him a new contract for sure, but I don't think I think he could definitely get more money elsewhere. So, which maybe won't be Arsenal. Like they don't really throw money around like that too much, but Chelsea certainly does.
Yeah.
United does. Real. I think you can make a good chunk of change there too. So, I don't know.
I feel like the clock is officially ticking now on this move, because now contract's ending. Something's got to happen. So that'll be a fascinating one. All right, walk me through this Arsenal ending yesterday, because all I saw was the stat sheet and City missing a lot of PKs too, not hitting the target, getting saved. What kind of happened at the end?
Yeah. I mean, overall game, I felt like it was like pretty level. I mean, granted, it's still preseason technically. Like, each team's kind of in their separate phases of that, and City tends to start a little bit slow in the season and then ramp up and just never lose again. So,
Right.
Par for the course, I guess. But it was looking pretty neck and neck, and then Arsenal kind of give up a goal through just kind of little mistakes that have been kind of prevalent through preseason. So that's definitely something that's a little concerning. Will hopefully shake out here soon, but. Then it's looking like it's just going to be a 1-0 victory for City, and then Arsenal get a corner kick. It kind of pops around a little bit, comes out to Trossard. He just kind of shoots into the crowd, and it deflects off of I think Akanji or someone, and right into the goal at like I don't know, it's 92nd minute or something, 93rd.
Oh, I have 90 plus 10 here, so I'm assuming it's at the.
Oh, was it that late?
Yeah, it was that late.
Yeah, it was pretty late into the game anyway, but so then no extra time in Community Shield, just go straight to PKs, which again, it's technically preseason game, so no need for extra time really. But then PKs, De Bruyne steps up and just rocks it off the crossbar. that was surprising. I thought if anyone was going to make it, I thought for sure De Bruyne is just sinking that thing. Yeah. And then Odegaard steps up, real nice captain's PK goal, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I don't know. And then Ramsdale, not known for his penalty saves, but gets a save on
Rodri? Yeah,
Rodri.
Rodri.
Yeah. And then just kind of fell Arsenal's way. Vieira comes in and nets one in the top corner. Perfect PK, and bada bing, bada boom.
Game, set, match.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think this is going to be a down year for KDB?
Down. I think down is maybe like.
All right, usage. I think maybe a
usage.
I think his usage rate is going to go down.
No, I think they'll still rely on him quite a lot, but I think maybe his output might just kind of. It's still going to be good, but I think it'll be less than it has been in past seasons. I think it's just the teams that have good players in their squad now is pretty expansive, and I think a lot of teams will kind of learn how to play against City a little bit better. Like Arsenal in the Community Shields played it a little bit smarter in that they didn't try and go exactly like toe to toe with City like they did in the league last year. They kind of let City have the ball up to a certain point, and then really started, pressing them harder and trying to kind of take their control away. So I mean, I think a lot of teams will try and do that. I mean, obviously it's still City, so they're still very good, but I don't know. I mean, De Bruyne he's getting older. They just don't really have like another De Bruyne figure. Like, you got Bernardo Silva, but he doesn't really occupy the same role. You lost Gundogan now.
I think that's I was waiting for you to say him. I think that is going to be the move that shifts this team because of how much he was able to take pressure off of KDB. Yes,
yeah.
De Bruyne had amazing stats, had amazing passes. He'll still have those, but I feel like teams now can maybe press him a little bit differently now that Gundogan's not there, because Gundogan had a career year last year, and I think that kind of threw a lot of teams off, and that's why De Bruyne was allowed to do. I mean, he had 19 assists or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
And granted, most of them were to Holland, but I think they got a little bit different of a philosophy coming in this year, because now Foden's probably going to have to play a lot more, and Pep doesn't seem so hot on him all the time, and I don't know. I want to do a top 4 predictions on here, and I don't have City winning.
Yeah, it's just so hard to judge City from the start.
I know, I hate it.
They always drop random points early on, and then come mid-season they wake up and never lose again. And
it's like that housefly that just never you can never kill, and it's been 3 days, and I'm like, I thought those things died in 24 hours, and it's the same one. That's City, and then at the end they disappear, but they die right at the end of the season and they win. So their death is winning the chip.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's just no real competition in the team to replace De Bruyne right now. Because even Foden normally kind of plays one of those wing positions.
Yep.
But they still have Grealish there. I guess they don't really have anyone for that right wing at the moment. So I don't know if Foden will fill in there or.
No more Mahrez.
Oh yeah, if they'll try and move Alvarez out there and do something with that. But
I would like to see him play more.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we saw them, him and Holland play together a few times last season, and they seem to work well together. I just don't know if Alvarez is really much of a winger or what he's actually known for.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. This top four prediction is going to be rough.
Yeah, let's do it. Number 4. Just gonna going off the top.
Yeah. I'm going to say Liverpool.
Why?
Well, they've made some good signings over the winter and the summer. Maybe could use a couple more now that Henderson and Fabinho are gone, but
okay, but I'm gonna pause there. Fabinho was not the best player in the last year and a half. Almost a net negative. And Henderson was kind of his normal self, but again, he was 34, 35. So it was time. Yeah. It was time for him to turn into something like just that veteran that they've wanted, but doesn't need to play the full 90 every single game. I don't know. I don't say it's like a good thing he moved on. Of course, we would have still wanted him to be there, but it's like this could have maybe just started the transition a little bit quicker than what we expected. So I don't know. I kind of like these changes. I like the changes they made. Our defense is going to be our weaker spot. But
you think defense? I was thinking like midfield, like you don't really have
defensive midfield, maybe.
Yeah. You don't have like a defender in there currently.
We're all offense. We got to outscore everyone.
I mean that could work. You got quite a solid front line. Szoboszlai in the midfields, he'll definitely grab some goals.
I mean, it's not like our defense will be awful. I mean, Virgil's going to have to be playing super strong, not like he did, like even better. And then Matip's probably going to have to come in there with Joe Gomez and Konate. Those guys are going to be sharp. But a rejuvenated Trent Alexander-Arnold is going to be fascinating to see. I'm really, really excited about that. And then just the new additions we have, and then everyone coming in without injuries. That is like, that's awesome. I can't wait to see what happens with that.
Yeah, that's kind of my thinking of why I have them at 4th, is I think they're going to have some really good energy. It is a lot of the players that have been there a handful of years now, so it's like not like Klopp is having to teach a whole bunch of new guys and get them up to speed. I just think, unless they make some big midfield signing here soon, or even like a big defensive signing, like that back half is a little bit of a worry, but I think you can just outscore everyone at this point.
I hope so, Chad. My number 4 will be Chelsea.
I was going back and forth between the two, honestly.
And I almost wanted to put Chelsea at number 3, but we'll start with 4. They don't have to worry about Europe. They got to focus strictly on what's happening domestically. Again, a lot of new signings, but guys who I think are eager to prove that they belong in the top rather than the bottom of the table. Pochettino, I mean, there's no way he gets fired in the first year of this job, right? There's no way. Surely, Chad. There's no way.
I would say no, but it's Chelsea. It could happen.
I think if they're still talking about this long-term building project, and if they don't get top 4, hell, if they don't get top 8, I mean, gosh, I just can't see him getting fired unless they get relegated. I really don't. Not for this first year. It'd be fascinating if they were if they were further down than 10th. Considering they finished 11th last year, I think is where they fell on the table.
I think so, yeah.
I have them top 4. They're younger. Maybe like half of that squad has now been together for at least 6 to 7 to 8 months. So I think they will be a project still, but I think the talent on that team is good enough to make top 4.
Yeah. I was kind of thinking of them as like, if not 4th, then 5th. Just kind of because of that, where like, there is a lot of youth in there. I think they might suffer from not having like a lot of leadership figures, right? Like you have your Thiago Silva in the back, but like you got rid of your Jorginho in the midfield, which I think it would have been nice to like kind of just play the leadership role and the occasional game.
Mhm.
And then up front, like I guess you have Sterling and I don't know. I think he's probably the only kind of leadership role in the attack, right?
Yeah,
Um,
just about.
so I think it's just they might be a little bit too not young, but maybe like inexperienced um, to hold it together through the top four is lava game, you know. Um, but there is a lot of talent there. Pochettino should be able to get some good results from that team. So I think they'll definitely be up in that 5-6 position and maybe peek their way into fourth.
Okay, so you're not going to put him at number 3?
No.
Okay, who's your number 3?
I think Newcastle.
Oh, okay, okay. And I'm writing these down. I put them on my cork board behind my desk, so this will stick with us.
Good.
That way we don't have to go digging for it later.
Yeah.
Newcastle. I like that shout. I'll be honest with you. I don't have Newcastle in my top 4.
Really?
I don't. But I do understand. I think they'll be more focused on Champions League rather than Premier League, and I think that might drain them out of Premier League a little bit more. I don't think they'll exactly know how to find balance since most of that squad, correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't have too much Premier League, or I'm sorry, Champions League experience. I can maybe pick off a few names off the top of my head, but not a lot of them, not a ton. Like Madison had a couple with Leicester. Kieran Trippier with Atletico. Like just a couple of those names here and there, but look at their back line. It's like none of those guys. Isaac maybe had a little bit.
Again, a few, yeah.
No more St. Maximum. He's going to Saudi. I mean, it just gets tighter and tighter with that team in terms of experience. Now, if they get bounced out of Champions League fast, okay, maybe they make a run at the top 4 again. But I think with that money they got, that oil money, I think Champions League is kind of first if they just want to think that City will just run at the title again.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, not a bad argument. I mean, I just think if they can continue where they kind of left off, they look pretty hungry. So I think they might, maybe throw a little bit more resources into Champions League, but I think at the same time, they maybe need to be a little bit more realistic with it, and like that squad is not really set to take on European giants. So maybe give it a good effort, but don't throw all your eggs in the Champions League basket, and keep a good amount of focus on the Premier League, and especially just win the games you should win, and don't get stuck in this draw after draw thing that they had last season.
See, I think they will try to put all their eggs in the basket, even though they're not one of the giants. I think they want to be so bad that they're willing to overcommit to it.
Good, yeah.
I think barring injury, they could maybe go far, but that team, I mean, last year I felt like every week a new player out there has went on the injury list, and despite them still doing well, that was their biggest setback, especially their front 3. I feel like we never got to see the front 3, at least of St. Maximum, Isaac, and say Callum Wilson. We never saw those 3 guys play together that often. So that's what kind of keeps them out of my top 5. My number 3, Chad, I don't know where you want to put them. Aston Villa.
At 3?
At 3. Why not? Why not? You have a champion goalkeeper. You have a striker who's scored more than 10 goals in the last 4 seasons. You have Emery, who's just oozing with talent. He's in Europa. He's probably going to win that.
For sure.
I think they got Tielemans coming in there now. I would love to see a rejuvenated Coutinho too. Believe it or not, he's still on that team. For him to come in there, I just think that team had so much momentum too at the end of last season. I don't think they'll slow down. They just looked so promising, and like people went, like that's a pretty good looking squad. And I kind of want to see that underdog come in there.
Oh yeah,
and do it. Am I being a little crazy having them in there? Yeah, maybe. But as far as culture goes, like, so my other, couple, Man U is not going to make my top four. But when you look at the two cultures there, I'm picking Aston Villa as far as
Yeah.
management and level-headedness and talent wise too. I mean, they're not that far off of what Man U has. Of course, they're missing maybe that star, that A+ player, which Man U has at least one, maybe two or three. Maybe they don't
Yeah.
have those A guys, but they got a lot of B+s.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's all good points. Like, I don't think they'll make third. Like, that feels crazy to me. I'd love to see, an underdog sort of situation, but I think they're definitely gonna stay up around there. I wouldn't be surprised if they're one of the teams that like jumps into top four, falls out, jumps in, falls out. Like, they've made some really smart signings. Yeah, like you said, if they can pick up where they left off, they should be kind of cruising. Um, I don't know. I mean, Emery with Europa League is just a slam dunk unless it's Arsenal, because couldn't do it. But Arsenal is in a different spot that Villa was at the time. So, it's I think they're going to be exciting to watch. I don't think they'll make top four though.
I don't know, Chad. Never say never. Um, I think they'll be fun to watch. I think they have talent at every position, and Emery will find a way. But again, we will see. So I'll start with my number two here. My number two, it's going to be City. Maybe a little bit of bias in here because of my number one team. I think this could be another boxing match between Liverpool and City for 1-2. I'm sorry to Arsenal. You don't make my top five right now. I'm a little scared for your injuries. I really am. If you can prove to me you can stay alive throughout the whole season, but since you've already lost Jesus at the start, you're having to put Havertz in at the striker spot. It's like that's a little terrifying to me as a fan that one injury could then just like set off a bunch of different injuries or trigger a bunch of different movement in the team that maybe was not expected. Now, my counter for City and Liverpool is Liverpool has the smallest squad in the Premier League with 22 players, which is pretty wild. That is not a lot of depth. So, hell, injuries scare me too. One injury to our team could do the exact same thing, and putting them at number one could easily be number 6, 7, 8, 9. Especially if one of our A+ guys goes down. If Mo goes down, if Virgil goes down, if Becker goes down, that will be really, 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 really bad. Like, really bad. So, bold on me for putting him number one, but hey, man, I'm a fan. That's what you got to do. Got to believe.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, my only counter to your Arsenal injury worry is that a lot of the movement Arsenal has made with the signings recently has been kind of depth focused. So I mean, you have your. I think playing Havertz at striker in the Community Shield was more of a tactical decision than it's an injury decision. Because really, I think Arteta will play him in that box-to-box kind of role. Unless it is against a team like a City or probably Liverpool, then it will probably be a Rice, Thomas Partey midfield. But depth-wise, Arsenal's looking pretty good. Like, you got Trossard, who can pretty much play across the front three. Martinelli on the left, Jesus up top, and Nketiah is there. Technically, we still have Balogun at the moment. I don't know if he'll be around. The only one is Saka, of course, just has no backup because they just never want to not play him. But the midfield's pretty good, like Rice, Partey, Odegaard, Smith Rowe, Vieira, Jorginho. Even back line's pretty solid, like Zinchenko, Tierney. Timber played left back in the Community Shield. Tomiyasu, Gabriel, Saliba, Kivior,
Hey,
Ben White.
I'm not denying y'all got good players. It's just
look,
can they play?
But look, then you got Ramsdale, and they're going to bring in David Raya. So that's two like
That happened? Is that
starting
true?
keepers.
Is that true?
It's looking likely.
Okay.
So I don't think depth is so much the worry for Arsenal. I think it's just if they can kind of keep up the energy, and I think a lot of it this season will come on to Arteta if he just needs to rotate more. Like last season, a lot of the success of last season was because he didn't rotate. Like, so that team, everyone knew each other, everyone knew what everyone was going to do, and everyone's fighting. But then you see it towards the end of the season where like players getting tired or picking up little injuries that kind of keep them off their game a little bit, and there's like the rotation just didn't happen often enough, and for the right players that hopefully Arteta and his coaching staff have learned over that over last season, and will rotate more since they have more options now. But I mean, yeah, the fan in me is going to say Arsenal's going to win the thing and City's going to come in second. So like I don't feel like either of us are being too bold in our predictions, maybe, but
I made one bold claim.
you threw Villa in there.
I made one bold claim. Okay, cool. I think it's pretty realistic. Again, yours is maybe more realistic than mine just because you have 4 teams in there who maybe should have been in there last year too. I guess Liverpool's the only one with no, Man United was so inconsistent in terms of how they were going to finish. So honestly, I'm surprised. I don't think we had them in our top 4. Maybe we did at one point. I feel like we were so unsure about them.
Yeah.
We had Liverpool coming in, but Liverpool just couldn't get it done at the end. See, I don't know. I think both of ours are possibilities. Again, yours is more realistic than mine. But I would not be shocked either if my top 4 happened. Villa would be the one, but we have 4 days until we're starting.
Yeah. We make a relegation prediction?
I was thinking about it, but at that point, I don't even know much about the teams I would want to relegate. I mean, the 3 teams that came up, I'd rather just say maybe the 3 teams that came up. Do you think
they survive?
If they survive, yeah. Because I mean, there's so many teams. All right, I guess we could let's do a quick relegation. Off the top, West Ham is just due for it.
Yeah.
Can we just agree on that one?
I was gonna say that like they haven't made any great signings.
Well, their list of what we need was everything.
Yeah.
Why would you release that? That's like so embarrassing.
Yeah, I mean they already struggled last season. I think if they don't get relegated, they're definitely fighting down there at 16, 17 all season, I think.
Yeah. My next one. Again, I don't know much about them, but I just feel like Luton Town. I haven't heard awesome things in terms of like what they'll do to stick around, and that's probably just me being just not that informational on what they got and what they bring to the table. But that would be one where I wouldn't be shocked if they get sent down. But if I had a Premier League team in for them, I think Fulham might be due for it, considering they lost their best striker, and I don't know, they just got another year older, and like they were great to start off the season last year, but that was all Mitrovic. You take Mitrovic off those games, where did they actually end up last year? That'd be a interesting study to go see where they would fall on the table. It wouldn't be in the top 10. It would probably be closer to the bottom.
For sure. Yeah.
So that's why I pick them.
Yeah. I'm kind of thinking Forest. Like they barely survived last year, and I haven't really paid attention to any signings they might have made, but I don't know that there's enough there to really keep them around for another year, which is a bummer if Matt Turner ends up going there, but at least he's starting, so.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Luton Town, I don't know enough about them, but you never really heard about them too much in the past few years. So it feels like this rise to the Premier League was like maybe a touch too quick
Yeah.
or something. Or so like they might just yo-yo for a couple of years and figure out where they land. But
teams that get in via PKs, I'm always just like,
yeah, that too. It's
like, how did you get a little lucky there? Like the other team screw up. I mean, you could go digging and find out what really happened, but it's those teams that make me just second guess them a little bit. If I had to pick one more Premier League team instead of the new guys that came up, man, yeah, Forest is probably up there. I feel like Bournemouth will probably stick around. I feel like they are gritty enough to do it, but I don't know. Don't count out the Wolves. They didn't do anything special either.
I was thinking Wolves. Yeah.
I would say those 5 teams that we mentioned are probably the ones. I love what Brentford has done, and I hope they continue to have success, but they're losing their striker, Tony, for a while. Don't know what that's going to do to their club. Would it shock me if all of a sudden they're just not the same team as last year? A little bit. Mbuemo?
Mm-hmm.
Correct me if I'm wrong on his name. I think he's... Yeah, go ahead.
Mbuemo, I think?
Yeah. He's hurt. Okay, they took him off. He was injured during the last game. They're going to keep their eyes on him. So, but again, with no Tony, you take out him, those are like, that's their offensive firepower. What happens after that?
Sure. Yeah.
So yeah, okay, I'll write down those 5, and we'll keep our eyes on them too.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the table, I think it's another pretty competitive year. I think, especially that top 8, because Brighton should be scary still. Villa's looking like they're going to be scary. Liverpool be back into form. Tottenham's kind of the question mark right now, as far as if they really challenge for top 4 or what. But I don't know. I'm ready to get going on this thing.
No, I know. Noon on Friday. I'll be able to watch the game too, which I'm pumped about. And then we get the ball rolling. You want to do a Hawaii pod?
I feel like we have to.
We have to. All right, we should do it on the beach.
Oh, that'd be tight.
I'll bring a camera. I'll bring my laptop. I'll bring the snowball. I'll try to find it. I think I have it somewhere.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe we'll just do a little 10 to 15 minute quick segment on how our team's doing. Chelsea and Liverpool play on Sunday.
Is it going to be a draw?
No, not a draw. Not a draw. Liverpool will take it 2-0. 2-0.
Hell yeah.
That game is at 10:30 Central Time. I think we're 6 hours ahead of Hawaii, so that'll look like a 4:30 a.m. Hawaiian game.
Yeah, when in Rome, right?
But for me, it'll be 10:30 a.m. So I don't.
For me, it'll be
8:30.
8:30. Yeah, so
prime time
should be fine. Yeah, we might still be up.
we might, and then the wedding will be approximately 11 p.m. our time. So we don't know what's gonna happen. Oh, that Sunday's gonna be real interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
hey,
we'll figure it out.
When in Oahu. All right, Chad. Anything else we need to discuss?
No, I think that's it. I'm ready for the season to get going.
Yeah, me too.
Start thinking of your team.
Yeah, it's almost there. One last thing. Messi's stupid. Just stupid.
Oh yeah.
What is up with this guy?
I'm on the conspiracy that the conspiracy is for Inter Miami to win the League of Nations or whatever that competition is called.
Yes, I agree. I think they'll probably win it. That 4-4 game yesterday, I caught the last part of it when Messi hit the free kick, because I was like, I saw the game score and I was like, oh shit, I was like, this is tight.
Yeah.
And then MLS will start, their season will start back up in 2 weeks, and then I'm really curious to see what Inter Miami does, because they're in dead last right now, and it's like, what are they going to do to end their season? It's not like I got to worry about relegation, because we don't do that here, but it'll be fun to watch. That team is ridiculous. insane overnight.
Yeah. See if they can keep it rolling. But who knows?
All right, Chad. With that, episode 40?
Yeah.
40. We made it to 40. Happy 1-year anniversary to the Hooligans. And I'll see you in Hawaii.
Aloha.
Aloha!